Tom Kelly Show. Everybody, I want you to go to the Tom Kelly Show. I want you all to know about the Tom Kelly Show.
Trigger warning, spoiler alert. Who wants to podcast today? You're listening to the Tom Kelly Show. Important episode today. It is Friday night, friends. February 4th, 7:22 p.m. I have to go down the block to the West Side Comedy Club and do stand-up in just a few minutes. I am podcasting because I have something in me I need to get out. And it has been bothering me all week long. Our friend Whoopi Goldberg got herself into trouble, for lack of a better word, for statements that I would call ignorant, if not she said stuff and her foot wound up in her mouth. She was trying to, that's the right way to say it. Whatever it is, the world has been against her. She's suspended from The View for 2 weeks by ABC News. And, you know, she is a friend of mine. She's a friend of she's a friend of mine. I worked for her for 10 years. And I don't want to rehash her apology. Actually, I will rehash her apology. I won't rehash what she said, but I think her apology is worth rehashing. Let's get the CNN version here. I said the Holocaust was not about race and was about man's inhumanity to man, but it is indeed about race because Hitler and the Nazis considered Jews to be an inferior race. Now, words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said, and I stand corrected. And I also stand with the Jewish people, as they know, and you all know, because I've always done that. I put out on my Instagram, because the world is calling her anti-Semitic. It's all over the damn internet. The pylon of it hurts to see a pylon when you know the person. And I just wrote on my Instagram, Facebook, by the way, Tom Kelly Show. Whoopi Goldberg is not anti-Semitic. I worked with Whoopi Goldberg for 10 years. She is a woman who loves people of all races, creeds, and colors. On more than one occasion, she's invited my mom to her home. Her work and personal life has the diversity of the United Nations. She apologized on Tuesday on The View, and I'm asking that we stop the pylon. And I'll tell you something. I am surprised more of her friends have not issued a statement like that. And people are starting to perk up now. It's Friday. I put mine out on, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday. And I wasn't first. Actually, the guy who I am impressed was first. A guy who was the executive producer of the show, Bill Getty, was the first guy to make me go, man, people need to start saying she's not an anti-Semite. And I don't want to rehash her comments, because I think the one thing I've learned over the years is nothing screws up an apology like rehashing what you did wrong. And I think there was a lot of teachable moments there. There's a lot of people right now comparing Whoopi's situation to other TV show hosts, past and present. The difference between Whoopi and Joe Rogan is whatever Whoopi said that was wrong and cringeworthy in the moment. She had 3 other people on the panel saying, no, Whoopi, you're wrong. This is because blank. The nice thing about The View is there were 3 people disagreeing with her in the moment. And, a day later, she issued her statement. I'm a man looking for work. I'm not working for her now. And listen, I've said this about other news outlets. I've used to say this about Chris Cuomo. Don't go to Chris Cuomo for news about Andrew Cuomo. And you probably shouldn't go to Tom Kelly for news about The View. You shouldn't. I hope you're here because you enjoy my show and you, in your own weird way, think of me as a friend. And right now, you're not getting journalistic expertise. You're getting a statement from a friend. And if you're a friend of mine, well, then Whoopi Goldberg is a friend of a friend. and she's not an anti-Semite. Boom. That's all you got to say. You know, I mean, there's so much I want to say. One day I'm going to write the book. And I'll say this about Whoopi. She's gotten burned on it a couple of times. And, you know, when you're at your lowest, you know, I've seen Whoopi defend people before. And some of them worthy of her faith. You know, I don't want to, you know, I also understand how people get upset about it. I took it upon myself to go to the Jewish American Heritage Museum in Battery Park. And I want to get and I am going to tell you guys right now, you should go, but wait until April, because right now only 1/3 of the place is open. But the third that is open was a good hour for me. I was the only, actually, you may want to go now because there's nobody there. I had the whole darn museum yes, one step below literally to myself. There was only one other person there, and she was there after I left. It was really me and Tim, the security guard, enjoying the Boris Lurie exhibit. And it's entitled Nothing to Do But Try. And he is a Holocaust survivor who was also a painter. Again, when you talk about what's the teachable moment, Ariel Reshef from ABC News reported in a story about Whoopi, a interesting fact, a terrifying fact from the FBI that Jewish people account for only 2% of the American population, but 60% of the religious hate crimes. And I've been saying this to people all week long. Anybody who thinks they have the answers probably doesn't. You know, I've been saying that about a lot of things this week. Anybody who thinks they have the answers, I don't trust them. You know, but one answer for yourself in this age of self-educating yourselves, I think we may all need a annual or biannual trip to lots of museums, but maybe especially the Jewish Heritage Museum. I'm going to stand by this, and I'm not going to ramble about it so I don't sound ignorant, but everybody needs a little bit of Holocaust education once a year. You know, this Boris Lurie exhibit, and when you talk about what this particular man survived, he didn't just survive a concentration camp. He survived living in a ghetto, you know, and then on top of that, the Jewish American experience of surviving the Holocaust and where do you go next? It's a powerful experience that I suggest everybody have. And if you want to get more for your $18, go to the museum in April because it was just funny. You went into the museum and the guy at the counter's like, "You sure you really want to come here?" He didn't quite say it like that, but it sure felt like that. So the hard part with standing with somebody in this day and age is the amount of hate mail and phone calls I've received from friends for standing with a friend. And I'm going to say this. My name is Tom Kelly. Born in Brooklyn, raised in Long Island. I'm from two neighborhoods. I grew up in a world where maybe you didn't defend everybody, but you stood up, or I don't know. I'm from a neighborhood, man. From a neighborhood. And it sounds stupid, but you know what? If somebody's good to you, you stand with the people who are good to you. And if you're a friend of mine, Whoopi Goldberg is a friend of a friend. Think about that when you do it. And then now a couple of people sent me notes saying, "But Tom, you made fun of Tom Brady. Are you a hypocrite?" And I'm going to say yes. In that regard, yes, to some degree. Though I think when I make fun of Tom Brady, it's a little more playful. And I don't think Tom Brady is suffering, you know. So I'm a hypocrite there. And and I see all the Fox News reporters talking about, oh, well, this one did this and this one did that. First thing is, I'm not even going to name the politician because I don't want to single anybody out, but there's one of the governors somewhere is comparing holding a vaccine card to the Holocaust. And go to the Lurie exhibit at the Jewish American History Museum in New York. And after half an hour of looking through that stuff, he won't want to make that comparison. I got to go to this show in just a little bit, but I want to talk for a few more minutes. People compared the Whoopi situation to Roseanne Barr a couple of years ago. Two big differences. One, Roseanne Barr kept on apologizing. Two, Roseanne Barr was trying to be mean. And three, I might be a slight expert on this. Yeah, I was rooting for Roseanne Barr. Because listen, the relaunch of Roseanne before it became the Connors, those 6 episodes, that could have been my generation's All in the Family. And she blew it. And she was being mean. And also Roseanne, in her weird mind, was trying to turn whatever she was saying into a conversation about Iran. And when you say, Tom, what makes you an expert on it? I went to go see Roseanne talk about it for 2 hours at Stand Up New York. The video clips are on my YouTube, youtube.com/TomKellyShow. You got to dig to find it. It's in there. And if you listen to a few of her remarks in the tone, she was still kind of making shots.
No one else does either. Okay. Because she's into teachable moments.
Okay, so as a teachable, well,
I'm sorry, I'm such a bitch. I'm sorry.
She wasn't sorry. Kathy Griffin, another one. And Kathy Griffin has been nice to me in my travels. I don't know if I'm necessarily a fan, but she has been nice to me in my travels. What she did was horrific. And she apologized and kept on apologizing. And she keeps explaining why she's right. And, and Andy Cohen is wrong. And this one's wrong. That one's wrong. You know what? That's not an apology then. You're saying, well, you're right. That's the difference. Megyn Kelly, much bigger and more complicated thing. You got to remember, Megyn Kelly is possibly one of the biggest financial disasters at NBC in the last 15 years. Megyn Kelly was making more money than Matt Lauer. I think she was making $16 million a year. And NBC made a lot of huge mistakes with that third hour of Today. They canceled Al Roker and Tamron Hall. Who were outrating Kelly Ripa in a parallel time slot. And they were paying Tamron pennies. They were paying Al Roker pennies on the dollar compared to Megyn Kelly's $16 million a year. And what did Megyn Kelly do? Lots of little put your foot in your mouth mistakes over as the ratings were dropping. And then she made the mistake that I've been afraid of making over the years, which is she had a conversation about race with nobody of the races she was talking about at the table. And there was nobody at the table to say, hey, Megyn Kelly, stop, you're putting your foot in your mouth. And the hard part about being in the passionate middle, my brother is telling me not to talk about this stuff in public, and he's not wrong. I had a very pro-Catholic view during Black Lives Matters, and I know there's one comedy booker out there who will never book me again, maybe two, because I had a very why are you vandalizing a church opinion. So I'm afraid to have opinions there. I'm afraid to talk about that stuff. Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm a man looking for work. I probably shouldn't be expressing any of these opinions. Instead, I should just talk about the things I'm good at, like why I can't get laid, which is what half the act is about. And my brother's not wrong about me not talking about it. The hard part with going up the middle is you're offending everybody. The hard part about saying, why can't we all get along and trying to bring people back to the middle is nobody wants to get along. So that's the show. I gotta go entertain people. Quick shout outs to Josh Payne, Broken Hand Wind in the Magic Mirror. Yeah, by the way, let's do this again. Magic Mirror time. Quick shout outs to Roger Fisher, Josh Payne, Broken Hand Wind, Ryan in Albany. Who else? My friend Bridget, my friend Phil Gaduti, and you know what? There's a lot of other names. Jacob Lee Downey, Mark Epstein. And if I haven't said your name out loud, that's because I see you too. What are the asks? You know, show love where you can show love, people. That's the basic laugh. That's the ask. And if you want to show love where you can show love for me, like I noticed Marianne Stelmachek telling Tamron Hall and the Tamron Hall show that you love the Tom Kelly Show podcast. Well, thank you for that subtle exhibition of kindness. Friends, have a great day. Go show love. Good night, New York.